Spiritual attainment is a fundamental transformation of the I thought from a separate, limited, and contracted identity into an expansive, abundant, and infinite one. It is a transition from viewing oneself as a limited and ordinary mortal individual to a self-identity with fully evolved, realized being, consciously unified with the eternal. Thus, it is a movement from the sense of separation to union. It is not that we are seeking to eradicate the sense of self. Rather, we are seeking to expand and deepen it so that the sense of self encompasses everyone and everything, and we are conscious of our complete interconnection and interdependence with all life. This, by nature, is the realization of the Christ self, which is our true self. Quite naturally, with this expanding and deepening of the sense of self, we discover an identity that is selfless in nature, simultaneously a perfect unity and a multiplicity of being, consciousness, force. One of the first steps in this process of self-realization is observing and understanding the inherently fragmented and chaotic nature of our surface consciousness, our ordinary and outer self. Through this observation, a practical integration and harmony can be established. However, first we must learn to go within and become the silent witness, suspending all self-judgment to merely look and see what's transpiring within and around us. When we go within and become the silent witness, the first thing that we notice is that our consciousness is fragmented and divided against itself, as though there's a legion of I thoughts, that is, desires, fears, all striving against one another. We see we are fragmented and yet deeply desire a wholeness of being. We find that we are sorely distracted and yet deeply yearn to be concentrated. We find ourselves scattered and confused, yet we want to be gathered and clear. At first, it's somewhat frustrating and troubling. The key is to remain the silent witness, just observing without attachment or aversion. In this scattered condition, what we notice is that we give sanction to the personality. That is, we react and display whatever is happening in the surface consciousness outside of ourselves, and that we tend to live in a state of unconscious reaction or habitual patterns. We talk about my likes and dislikes, my feelings and emotions, my thoughts and opinions, my grief and pain. And the I thought becomes enfeebled and absorbed in all of these movements and is compelled by them. From one mind moment to another, the I thought becomes involved in this and that personal drama, or absorbed in some compulsive and unconscious action, or in some obscure anxiety or restlessness without end. From one moment to the next, the mind is constantly changing. And what is astonishing is that one finds no continuous sense of self at all. Basically speaking, whatever the passing mind moment is, the I thought unconsciously identifies with it and essentially becomes it. Yet truly, all of these phenomena of thoughts, feeling emotions, and daydreams are spectral in nature, having no real substance. They are all really just little nothings. Fragmented in this way, we wander from our own center. We wander so far that we even forget that we have a center of being amidst the turmoil of the surface consciousness. When our attention is given over to the surface consciousness and we are living in reaction, or our attention is being dominated by something, we lose contact with the source and center within. Our attention thus becomes a passive agent of lower nature and all manner of psychic and spiritual influences coming from the outside. Attention, or awareness, is a most sacred faculty. However, when left to whatever pulls it this way and that way, in effect it has no power of its own. It is completely dominated unconsciously. According to Gnostic teachings, if this presence of awareness is not reclaimed, cultivated, and refocused through an intimate association with will and love, a human is not fully a human being, not yet an authentic individual. Yet the moment we engage our capacity as the silent witness, we begin to generate this presence of awareness, and we discover a deeper center of being.